All right, so it's recording now. So, um, what I want to look at is a very, very practical topic in modern project management, which we refer to as Agile and Scrum frameworks. Now, if you have ever, wait first, can you hear me? Let me be sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. So, if you've ever wondered how software teams are able to deliver updates very, very fast, sometimes every week, we'll try to explain that. We'll try to connect it to what we already know from our previous sessions, and even we'll try to compare it, to some examples. All right. So, um, now what is Agile? What's Agile? So, what exactly is Agile? Now, think of it as a mindset rather than a rule book. Agile focuses on flexibility, focuses on collaboration, and a quick response to change. In traditional projects, you might wait until the very end before you are able to see any result. Okay, in Agile, you deliver in small parts early and improve them over time. You know, imagine you are building a mobile banking app. You are building a mobile banking application. Okay. Now, instead of waiting 6 months for the whole application, you might release the login page first, then you test it with users. Based on that feedback, you refine it before moving on to the next feature. Okay, that's um, agile in motion and in progress. Okay, I don't know if you understand what I just said. So that's basically what agile means. It's a mindset that's focused on flexibility, collaboration, and quick adaptations to change. So it started in software, but now it applies to all kinds of projects. So agile teams deliver value in small increments rather than one um, final big delivery. So it encourages ongoing communication with clients to refine results. The goal is to deliver better outcome faster and more efficiently. So I hope that my mobile banking app explanation basically explains everything. So why does Agile matter in software projects? Now, software is living, breathing, and constantly changing. Um, Customers are always asking for new features. If you've seen WhatsApp before, WhatsApp was only text. Then from text, they moved on to status. Or status, they move on to private. You can keep your chat on red or be people know, all those many different features they keep adding. Now you can add music to your WhatsApp status. Now you can add this. This thing to goes to Google Meet. Before they could not share screen. Now you can share your screen. Before you could not record. Now you can record. You could not do co-host. Now you can do co-host. All of these things are software projects. Okay. So customers ask for new feature, technology evolves, and competition innovates. Competitors innovate daily. Agile helps them keep up to embracing change. Okay. Now, picture the difference between a mobile app team that waits a year to release updates versus one that improves um, every 2 weeks. Which one will users prefer? The 2 week team, right? So that's why agile matters. All right. So that's why agile matters. So it gives us speed, it gives us flexibility, and it gives user satisfaction all at once. All right. So now let's look at agile versus waterfall. Now, I've heard of waterfall before. Now let's introduce the concept of agile. Now let's compare agile with the traditional waterfall method. Waterfall works like our duplex project. You can't paint walls before you build them. Every stage must finish before the next begins. So in software, though, that approach is risky because by the time you finish, our user needs might change. So what Agile does is that Agile breaks work into smaller testable chunks. You can build one room, show it to the client, and tweak it before continuing. Now, in coding terms, you might develop the login module first, test it, and only then move to payments. So Agile keeps feedback alive through that process. All right. So let's move on to the next slide. So Agile is guided by 4 big ideas. Okay. Let's try and pay close attention. Agile is guided by 4 big ideas. Hope we are together. Hope we are listening. Agile is guided by 4 big ideas. People over process. People over process. Working results over paperwork. Collaboration over negotiation. And responding to change over sticking blindly to a plan. These values remind us that the projects succeed because of people, because of their conversations, because of their creativity, and because of their ability to adapt. Now, imagine 2 teams. Okay. One follows every rule but never talks. The other communicates daily and adjusts together. Who do you think will deliver a better product? The one that communicates. So Agile celebrates that human side of it of project management. Okay. So let's look at these are the value, these are the core values of Agile. Now let's look at the principles. This is something that you need to go and learn across and learn more about rather. So let's look at the principles of Agile. Now the principles bring the value to life. Agile teams deliver the working software often. Sometimes they do it every few weeks. Sometimes they do it what? Every few weeks. But who are still listening? Can just give me a thumbs up or something. So let me be sure. Okay, okay. So let's continue. Now, the principles of Agile. The principles of Agile. the principles, they welcome change, even late in development. Now, if you are see what I listed here is deliver working software frequently with short timelines, welcoming change requirement at any stage, collaborate daily between business and technical teams, measure progress primarily by delivered value, not paperwork, reflects regularly to become more effectively. So that basically means that agile teams deliver working software, with very short timelines, and they welcome change even late in the development, and they measure success by what's actually delivered, not by how thick the documentation is. It's about progress you can see. For example, after each iteration, a user can test something tangible. The short feedback loop makes sure we are always building what's truly needed, not just what was written months ago. Okay, so these are the principles of agile. Now, I did not put that website. Anyway, you can go online. AI is available these days, and you can ask for uh, principles of agile. Okay, so you can learn more about that. All right. So now let's continue the next one, which is the Scrum, which is the most popular agile framework. So among many now, agile has many um, methods. Okay, you have Scrum. In fact, that's another assignment. Go and check the many frameworks of agile. We have Scrum, we have XP, we have Lean, we have Kanban. But Scrum is most popular, is the most widely used. So among many agile methods, Scrum stands out as the most widely used. Scrum is a lightweight agile framework for managing complex work. What it does, it divides work into short, consistent time box periods called sprints. I spoke about this last week. Sprints. So each sprint aims to deliver a usable working product and working product increment. Okay. So think of it as like a structured flavor of agile. Scrum organizes work into short, consistent periods, usually 2 to 4 weeks. At the end of each sprint, you have something working, not theoretical. Scrum helps team to be able to stay focused, to be able to track progress, continuously improve. It's like a rhythm. Plan, build, review, improve, repeat. Plan, build, review, improve, repeat. Simple, incredibly effective, promotes transparency, inspection, and adaptation. All right. So let's explore some things about Scrum, because Scrum is, you're going to be employed as a IT project manager anywhere. You basically will be asked to use Scrum um, as the framework for your team. Okay. So let's look at that. Now, Scrum team rules. Scrum team rules. Let's look at some Scrum team rules. Let's look at some Scrum team rules. In Scrum, every member has a clear role. The product owner that sets the vision and decides what features matter most. Scrum Master is the coach who ensures the team follows Scrum principles and removes obstacles. You have the development team that actually builds the product. Think of it like constructing a smart home. The homeowner defines the vision, the project manager coordinates, and then the builders execute. Now in Scrum, everyone works together. No one hides behind titles. Okay. Okay. Now, the product owner defines the vision, manages the product backlog. We'll get to what the product backlog is in the next slide. Now, let's look at that. The product backlog. Now, the product backlog is the heart of Scrum. It's the prioritized list of everything the product might need. Each item is a user story. What that means is, let's say, as a user, I want to transfer money easily so that I can pay bills quickly. That is an item. Okay. So it is a dynamic list of everything that could be built in a project. So that's particular, as a user, I want to transfer money. We need to build something that allows us to be able to transfer money easily so that we can pay bills. So this product owner is the one that maintains the list, updates it as feedback rolls in. It is alive, it's always changing as need be. Think of it as like a grocery list that keeps growing as your family remembers new things that they add. Now, except in Scrum, it is features you are adding. You're not adding food. Okay. So top items are always worked on first during each sprint in accordance to their importance. All right. Now, there's something called sprint planning. Sprint planning. Now, at the start of every sprint, the team gathers for sprint planning. They pick items from the product backlog that they believe they can complete within the sprint period. So together, they define a clear sprint goal. The main objective for those 2 or 3 weeks is like saying, for this sprint, we'll finish this login system and test it end to end. So everyone is leaving that meeting knowing exactly what they will build and why it matters. So they focus only on that. Okay, give me a second, please. Okay, so let's continue. Now, sprint planning. Yeah, so I was talking about sprint planning. So that's this. They focus on this particular thing, and then they try to get it done. So now let's go into explaining the sprint itself. Okay, let's go into explaining the sprint itself. Now, a sprint is the heartbeat of Scrum. It's a short time box period, say 2 weeks, where the team builds and tests a working piece of the product. The rule is, once a sprint starts, no one adds new tasks midway. That helps to protect the focus of the team, so that by the end, you should have something you can demonstrate or demo. It doesn't necessarily have to be perfect, but it has to be functional. Now, over several sprints, these pieces come together into the full software, not just like assembling a house room by room. Okay, so that's what a sprint is. Now, there's something again which we call daily Scrum. Okay, all of these things, we call them Scrum events. Daily Scrum. Okay, so the daily Scrum, or stand up as it is commonly known, daily Scrum or stand up as it's commonly known, is a quick 15 minutes check-in Each team member answer 3 simple questions. What did you do yesterday? What will I do today? What might block my progress? That is it. Short, honest, and consistent. It's not about reporting the ball to a boss, it's about teamwork. So this daily reading prevents any surprises, build accountability. And imagine if our duplex builders meet every morning to sync up. Mistake will reduce drastically. Okay. So let's now go into another event called the sprint review. Now, after each sprint, the team holds a sprint review to show what they built. Stakeholders and users are invited to see the new features in action. Feedback is gathered right there. Maybe a user says this button should be bigger, or can we ask you fingerprint login? That is valuable insight. The goal is to learn, not defending. So the product owner then adjusts the backlog based on what was learned. So it's continuous learning like that. Then sprint retrospective. Now, once the sprint review is done, the team will meet privately for the retrospective. Now, this is where the magic happens. They discuss what went well, what could improve, how to make the next sprint smoother. It's all about honesty, it's all about growth. For example, maybe testing took too long, so they decide to automate it next time. These small lessons stack up into major improvements over time. So those agile teams never stop learning. Okay. So those are all of these things we discussed are called Scrum events. All right, Scrum events. So let's now go into Scrum artifacts. All right. Now, Scrum has 3 main artifacts: the product backlog, the sprint backlog, and increment. Think of them as like 3 containers of work. Now, the product backlog is the big wish list. The sprint backlog is this cycles too. Is this cycles to list, and the increment is the finished piece. So keeping them transparent helps everyone to see where things stand. So clear artifact means few surprises and smoother communication across the teams. Okay. So those are Scrum artifacts. So together they ensure visibility, shared understanding. Each artifact has a clear purpose in maintaining order. All right. Now, I look at agile tools in software development. Now, to make agile teams easier, teams use digital tools like Jira, Trello, Azure DevOps. These tools help to visualize work. You already know about these tools. So I introduced them early on over the course of these sessions. All right. They also, like, you can literally drag a task from to do to done. They also automate reports and progress charts. Think of them as like dashboard for teamwork. Whether you are tracking tasks for a mobile app or managing an HR system, tools like this keeps everyone aligned, keeps everyone accountable. Okay. So I'm sure you have been hearing user stories. Let's now go into what user stories are. Now, user stories are short, simple descriptions of what users want. For instance, as a student, I want to download my course certificate so I can share it online. That's simple, but it is also powerful. each story focuses on real value for the user and not just any technical jargon. Okay, real value for the user. So during planning, the team discusses each story to ensure that everyone understands the goal before writing a single line of it. That's how Agile keeps development human centered. Keeps development user. It's easier for everybody to understand that you want to build a particular tool that can allow people to download their course certification. When you say, I want to download my course certification so I can share it online. But you just say, button, download course certificate, or use some sort of technical stuff that nobody understands or people don't understand. You know, it will be confusing for everybody. Okay. So let's go into what we call story points and explanations. Now, please pay close attention. So, story points in Agile, instead of estimating tasks in hours, we use what we call story points. Now, story point is about relative effort. How big or complex something feels compared to other tasks. For example, if logging in is a 3-point task and integrating payment is an 8-point task, we know payments will take more effort. So building a payment system will take more effort. So that if it's 1-point task, it means it's a very, very relatively easy task to complete. 3 points is like mid-size. You say 8 points or 5 points. Let's say you say on a scale of 1 to 5. There's a method for measuring that, but I'm not going to go into that now. So, but on a scale of 1 to 5, we'll know how hard it is. If you say it's 5 points, you know that that task is very, very hard, the hardest. So if your payment is 5 points or 8 points, we know that payment takes more effort. So teams you can find a way to agree on how to plan on this estimate. Sometimes it can be fun, you know. So those were story points and to be able to estimate how task complexities of tasks. Now let's go on to velocity. Now, velocity is how many story points a team completes in a sprint. Now, over time, it shows the team's natural pace. So if you normally finish about 25 points per sprint, so let's say you have different tasks, 3-point tasks, 4-point tasks, 5-point tasks, and all of them equal to 25 points. Let's say in a sprint, a team is able to complete only 25 points. You can predict how long the next pictures will take. So if you can put a task, number of tasks that total, if you calculate, if you add all the story points, it adds to like 50. You should be able to know that your team may not be able to finish it. So as I was saying, you can predict how long the next pictures will take. It's not really about comparing teams, it's just about understanding how fast your team is. The goal really isn't to rush, it's just to stay consistent, stay sustainable. So velocity gives you that data to be able to make smarter planning. Okay. Now, burn down chart is just a simple graph that is showing you how much work remains in the sprint. That's what it is. All of these things can be, I believe I've spoken about chart generation, data analytics tools last year. I mentioned it, where you can automatically just give it your data and it can just generate the chart for you. So a burn down chart is a simple graph that is just showing how much work remains in the sprint. Now, ideally, the line slopes downward as tasks get completed. So if the line stalls, if you understand, if you remember all the graphs and charts and all of this stuff, if the line stalls, something is blocking progress. It is a visual reality check. Imagine tracking construction materials day by day. If consumption stop, You know how work has paused. Same with burn down chart. They make invisible delays visible before it is too late. Okay. So let's look at Kanban versus Scrum. Now, Kanban is and Scrum share same agile rules. They are sometimes almost very similar, but work differently. Kanban is like a flowing river. Tasks move continuously from start to finish. There is no um, fixed sprint. I don't even know why I even included this here. But anyway, there's no fixed sprint. Scrum on the other hand runs in time box manner. I think um I just wanted to include it because if you are not working on a project and you are working on a team that does operational work, or like the stuff you are doing doesn't have end dates, then Kanban, like if your team is handling constant incoming requests, Kanban probably fits your team better because you if you deliver in focus cycles, Scrum and your project has an ending, Scrum wins. Okay, so if you deliver like we work in operations, a Kanban is probably the best. So sometimes we won't blend both. We call it Scrum Ban. No, it's in Agile. It's all about being flexible, really. So um, let's talk a little bit about scaling Agile. Now, what does this mean? Scrum of Scrums. Now, this is when several Scrum teams work on one big project. Coordination, is important. So that's where Scrum of Scrum comes in. Representation from each team meets regularly to share progress and remove dependencies. Think of it like, so let's say you have pod A, pod B. All right. Now pod A is working on front end. Pod B is working on back end, something like that. So they are working on different wings of the same project. So they must coordinate, you know. So let's even think of it like multiple duplex builders in one estate. They must coordinate so that the plumbing, the electricity, and the roofing align. So scaling agile is about keeping larger teams moving in sync with each other. All right. So in tech companies, agile feels alive. Developers, testers, designers, they sit together, don't sit in silos. So the feedback flows daily through stand-up demo sessions. For example, the fintech team rather might deploy small updates weekly, new dashboard colors, security fixes, payment features and things like that. So users notice constant improvement and the team learns faster. That constant motion keeps software relevant, keeps users happy, and yeah, that's just about that. So there are some common agile pitfalls rather. Now, agile is not magic. Teams sometimes will stumble. One common trap is treating agile like it's a checklist instead of a mindset. Others will skip retrospective or they will overload their sprints. Some rush so fast that they will ignore quality. Remember that agile doesn't mean speed for speed's sake. It means steady, valuable progress. When you focus on learning and collaboration, these pitfalls will be able to fade away or fade quickly. Now, myths about agile. Now, there are many myths about agile. Some say agile means no planning. This is wrong. Agile plans continuously, just in smaller cycles. Others think documentation disappears. It doesn't. It just becomes lighter and more useful. Agile doesn't remove discipline. It replaces heavy control with shared ownership. So once teams understand that, they stop fearing agile and start living in freedom. So there's a lot of benefit of agile for teams. When agile is done right, teams will feel empowered, work becomes transparent, communication flows easily, and progress feels tangible. Stakeholders see results early, morale solves because everyone's contributing to success. So you know that that sense uh, of pride when a duplex goes up or a duplex wall goes up. Developers feel the same when a feature goes live and the users smile. So Agile gives that sense of progress every few weeks instead of once a year. If you were to compare Agile with duplex project, now let's circle back to our duplex analogy. Now, in construction, changes midway are costly. Can't really move a wall once it's built, so it's harder. But in software, Agile thrives because changes are cheaper and faster to make. If a homeowner says, I like kitchen on the other side, that's a nightmare. But if a user says, move the button to the top, you can easily move the button to the top. That's a quick fix. So the comparison helps us appreciate where Agile truly shines in adaptable digital environments. Okay, adaptable digital environments. Now, Agile in non-software. Now, interestingly, Agile principles are now being used beyond technology. Marketing teams run campaigns in sprints. HR teams use Kanban for recruitment. Even schools use apply Agile planning um, and curriculum updates. Spreading because work everywhere is teamwork and change. So even if you're not coding, the Agile mindset can transform how you plan and deliver any type of work. Okay. Key takeaways. Agile is a mindset that is focused on collaboration and adaptability. Scrum is one practical framework for making it work day to day. Together, they help us deliver and value faster, respond to feedback, and build strong teams. So if you remember nothing else, remember that Agile is about people. It's about people first, process second. When the people side, um, when the people side works, everything else will. All right. So this is one of the modern um, ways teams manage change gracefully, how they plan small and how they deliver big, and how feedback drives excellence. So I don't want to set up as project managers, but adaptable leaders who are able to thrive when there's uncertainty. Try applying one other principles, to your daily routine this week. Maybe a short daily check-in or a mini retrospective on the end of the day. So progress over perfection. Now, do we have any questions? Oh, one other person joined, so it's three people now. All right. Yeah. So if you have any questions, that'll be it for today. I bombard people with a lot of
Sorry, sir.
things. We're getting closer. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, sir. Is it possible for us to get the PDF slides for the classes?
Yes, it's very possible. I used to send it
Okay.
over. I've forgotten. I've never sent it before. Abi?
You have not seen any of them, sir.
Oh, I'll try and make that available. I'm so sorry.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
All right. Any other question? I don't know if Bilkis has dropped the what's that thing that she used to call itself? See, attendance. I don't know. She has not shared the attendance. Let me see if I can. Now, now you can check, click on this link, click on it again. You can't click on the link. How come? Can you click on it? Love and Chidera, can you click on it?
Yes,
Uh,
I can click on it. It's taking me to the slide for the class.
okay. So I don't know why Biliki is not your. Anyway, there are three people in this class, so I guess you can just wait for her till she comes. Send her a message so she can give you the attendance.
So, I'm back. I'll send the attendance now. Attendance is in the chat box, everyone. Just listen. Sorry for coming late. Yeah, they reduce the volume now. Please. Mr. Oyemi, please, let's leave the call. Oh, the tutor did not stop recording. I don't know if you can hear me, sir.